Alicia, give me a second.
I'm not. Thanks, last name.
Alicia, do I get started? Welcome, everybody. This is a regular meeting and public hearing of the Grantsville City Council. For the record, today's date is April 1st. This is not a joke. So here we are, 2026, and the time is 7 p.m. This meeting is being held at the Grantsville City Council chambers located at 429 East Main Street in Grantsville, Utah, as well as electronically by Zoom. I am Mayor Heidi Hammond, and I will conduct a roll call. Councilmember Thomas.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Butler.
Here.
Dalton.
Here.
Oh, and Councilmember Skinner is excused, so I apologize. I didn't remember that. So yes, she will not be joining us tonight. She's out of town. Next, I've asked Les Peterson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Y'all, please rise. Those of you who are military veterans, you may salute or place your hand over your heart. The choice is yours. When the command is given, please render the proper respect to the flag. Present arms. Please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two, you may be seated.
Thank you very much, Les. The first item we have on our agenda tonight is for public comment. There were 2 comments that were received in support of bringing back the rodeo. They will not be read, but they have been entered into public record and they have been distributed to the council members. So they have all seen those comments. The floor is open to the public to bring their concerns to the council. And if you are on Zoom and would like to make a comment, please use the raise your hand feature for that, and Alicia will let you know when it is your turn to speak.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Casey, citizens of Grantsville. Before this council votes tonight to raise our rates, I want to put 7 years of city decisions on the record for the people, because this is not a revenue problem. This is a planning and accountability problem. This has been a problem known since 2018, which equals 7 years of inaction by this body. In 2018, city officials and elected representatives knew we had a wastewater compliance problem. The state's phosphorus rules were known. The clock was ticking, and yet 7 years later, here we are with $0 budgeted for sewer capital improvements, 0% asset renewal funding confirmed in the city's own planning reports. A project cost has ballooned from $32 million in 2022 to $39 to $48 million today. which is a direct consequence of this delay. A hard regulatory deadline of March 2029 we now face and have no option. This was an absolute failure of planning and elected accountability. There has been time to plan, budget, and save, but the will was not there. 3 of our elected representatives have been in their seats since 2022. Mayor Hammond, Councilmember Butler, and Councilmember Williams were all sworn in together in January 2022. All 3 were present and voting for 4 of these 7 years. Every budget they approved funded bureaucratic growth while allocating $0 to the infrastructure crisis they knew existed. Elected accountability means you are responsible for what's happened on your watch, including what did not happen. While our infrastructure was neglected, the bureaucracy grew. What did our representatives vote for and approve during those years while the sewer problem went unaddressed? Well, the city budget grew by 84%, from 11.3 to 20.8 million. Employee compensation growth has grown 85%, and staffing growth has grown 45%. Spending grew 84%. Staffing grew 45%, while the population has only grown 30%. The city's response to all of this has been zero accountability, yet 100% extraction from the taxpayers. Faced with a crisis entirely of its own making, the city has proposed one solution. We, the citizens, pay more. What has not been proposed, discussed, or even mentioned by city officials or these elected representatives is no spending reductions of any kind, no hiring freeze, despite staffing growth already outpacing our population by a factor of 1.5. No reduction in the 40% of the budget consumed by payroll, not even an acknowledgement that 7 years of zero capital reinvestment was a mistake. Every solution presented instead extracts more from us. A 147% sewer rate increase over 4 years, higher impact fees ultimately absorbed by the homeowner, and long-term bond debt placed on our public balance sheet. The city has failed to plan, and the city refuses to share in the burden of its own causing. Yet the city expects citizens to pay for both the failure and the solution, with no reduction or correction in the government that caused this problem. The question this council must answer: the citizens, neither old or new, caused this crisis. We were not consulted on why the city failed to budget and plan for this. We were not given a choice between growing city staff by 45% or funding our own sewer system, but we are being handed the bill. Before voting to raise our rates again, this council owes us a direct answer. What specific spending reductions, hiring freezes, or budget cuts is the city prepared to make to share in the burden of its own failure to plan? As I have stated numerous times from this podium, the bureaucracies do not restrain themselves. They expand, which is precisely why you were elected, to impose discipline, protect us, the taxpayers. If the only tools this council will use are rate increases and new debt, we deserve to know that plainly, so that everyone in this room and everyone in the city knows the kind of representation in government we have. This is a direct demand for accountability. And this is not rhetoric. This is directly from the city's own numbers and own budgets. Thank you.
Thank you. Multiple false statements were made in that claim, but we will address those when we get to the sewer treatment discussion. Are there any other comments?
Before I start,
Can you state your name, please?
Oh, Caleb Martin.
Thank you.
Can the public comment be about any concern in the city?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm concerned about car dependence in our city, where everyone drives a car, which makes it more unsafe. There were over 60,000 car crashes in Utah in 2023 alone. And, you know, our streets are built super wide. I measured my own road outside of my house. It's like about 14 feet wide, and highways are about 12 feet wide. So it encourages speeding. Also, everything is spread out, so people have to drive. And then it's spread out because of Euclidean zoning, which like separates residential, commercial, all of that, as well as having parking minimums, which states that every business must have so many parking lots. And most of the time it goes unused, which just generates infrastructure costs and it does not generate any tax revenue in return. Yeah, that's about it.
I applaud you as a youth, having the courage to come and speak. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm nervous.
No,
Can I-
you're great.
Can I
Thank
say
you.
something to that?
Yes, please.
I know we usually don't have the opportunity, Caleb. We have a Grantsville Youth Council. I would encourage you to be involved in that. It's a fantastic opportunity to get involved in your community. So anyway, thanks for your comment.
Hello, my name is Christine Clayton. I grew up riding in the Grantsville arena, starting at the age of 6 years old. I competed here and I won many trophies and belt buckles. And I even earned my first high school rodeo belt buckle right here in Grantsville. 6 years ago, my family decided to move here, and I was very proud that the arena was just down the street. That's why I strongly support bringing a hometown rodeo back to our community. Rodeos preserve our Western heritage and keep those traditions alive for the next generation. They build community pride by bringing families together, neighbors, and local businesses. They also provide an economic boost by drawing visitors, and they offer family-friendly environment where people of all ages can come out and enjoy. I fully support rodeo and bringing it back to this community to give the next generation the same kind of memories that I have of this community.
Thank you. Any additional comments?
I'm Trustee Hawes, and I'm also in favor of bringing back the rodeo. That's it.
Same kind of reasons?
Same exact reason. yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, Mark Nielsen, resident of Grantsville. So, I like the idea of the rodeo myself, but, no offense, people or anything, but man, I come from a smaller town than this and our facility was a lot bigger. We had a lot more stuff and I mean, I wish you guys could have the rodeo because man, I'm an old farm boy myself, but I just don't see, yeah, you guys aren't even close to what we have back home and yeah, and you guys haven't got 5 times the population too, so, but anyway, I have to agree with the first gentleman that spoke out. There's some public concerns here that need to be addressed, and even the gentleman that brought up on our roads, man. Like the gentleman said, you guys are a city council, you're supposed to be representing us and, I'm sure you guys live around here or travel, whatever, but I mean, you guys are actually the first city I've ever been to or even my boys have worked at and, you don't have a bypass road for all your truckers. You guys bring them right down here on the main street. That's wear and tear on your roads and everything, your structural, your engineers, your planners, planning people, they ought to know this. Kind of weird because I follow so many of the truckers because I don't work, I'm a slacker and freeloader. Saying I follow so many trucks, man, going out to the Walmart and down that main highway where they can come that back road and I mean, alleviate a lot of this traffic and these accidents that are happening. I'm kind of flabbergasted that the last 5 years that now you guys got main traffic going down this road here. That absolutely makes no sense when you got another road that they can go down on. And the second thing is the gentleman, accountability. Everyone's accountability. It doesn't matter who, when, or how many years goes by. And now you guys are putting a burden on the people because of the sewer thing. Well, last year I had to go and report to the city that you had people that was stealing water out of your guys' hoses out here, had the connections to go right to the fire hydrant and was filling their water trucks to do these water projects out here. That's money that we're paying, you know, the water, the cleaning and everything, but nothing seems to be important, you know, so I'm a little confused why you guys are asking, you know, for us for an increase when we have all this other stuff. And it took us over 2 times before, you know, hey, they had to have the counter on the vehicle or on the hose that they was filling up the truck, so forth and that. But I mean, it was funny that we're taking pictures of these guys and they know what's going on. And by the time we go from, we'll say, let's see here where the dollar store is, down to the city office. We go from there back. They've already picked up and moved. You know, we got the pictures and everything that we showed. And like I said, you guys are confusing because you guys aren't addressing anything and stealing. Hey, that's a crime. Like I said, no one's above that. So yeah, and you guys can't say you're not aware of it, because like I said, it happened 2 times last year. You guys have to be aware of it. You can't sit here and say, no, I don't, I'm not aware of it. I mean, that's like the thing I brought up of the, violating people's rights and their civil rights in that, violating them in that. Not one of you even asked then, hey, what's going on? What is it? You know, the handicap around here is terrible. It's not up to date. And you guys for the last 4 or 5 years, because like I said, I've got the videos, everything, it's on tape, man. You guys haven't done anything. You don't care. You have to care. That's a federal law. I mean, like the chairman said, no one is above the law. You know, let's get our stuff together. You got too many people moving in. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. I'll make this really quick, but I just want to say that I'm Sam Martin, and I support I second my brother's statements. I think that transportation of any kind, whether it be just normal walking, cars, public transit, or whatever, you know, it should be safe, as safe as possible, and it should be reasonably done to an extent to be safe while still not being, of course, impractical, right? And that type of thing. Okay, sorry.
No, thank you. Thank you for your comments.
All right, my name is Jolene Jenkins. I still remember, I'm like, you guys come talk to me later, but I still remember my way here. Just a couple of things that I want to bring up today. First of all, I wanted to thank you for your support and the work that you've done so far to help with our Veterans Park. And I want to encourage you to vote in favor of this bid that you have before you tonight. It's a local company, and I think he understands how much this means to our community and will do a good job. And he understands also that a lot of that money has come from community members donating what they've got and giving, and our veterans just hitting the pavement and working for donations and grants and things like that. We have a couple of other grants that we've recently applied for. We're hoping to keep finding sponsors and donations and grants, and because we still have a ways ahead of us, but we do appreciate all the support and the work that you're doing so far. And hopefully I really feel like once this work starts, when actual on the ground work starts, then it's just going to start rolling and we're going to get this done and be able to honor our veterans. I've been amazed. I can't even, how many names do we have so far? A little over 1,200. So yeah, we have a little over 1,200 names of local veterans that will go on that wall so far. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't got everyone. We encourage the community to submit those names. We've got forms on the city website where you can submit those names of your loved ones, your veterans that are from here in Grantsville. So just, I hope that you'll continue to support us and we can see this accomplished here pretty soon, sooner rather than later. And the second thing, honestly, I'm glad I'm not in your seats. As far as like, I think it's hard to look past all the inner workings that are happening and all of the things that all the moving pieces that you've got to keep in place. I know I do wish we had this wastewater treatment plant built already, because it is something we've been working on for quite a few years. And that's the beauty of government, is that it takes time, right? You had to go through these different processes. Just one thing that I would encourage you to, because I get it, we need it, and we've got to pay for it somehow, and I understand the rate increases. But if you would consider researching if there's a possibility to have a fee reduction, and you could set the criteria for the elderly, for, you know, like you decide on that, but those are the people that I worry about the most with the property tax increases, you know, like different socioeconomic groups and the elderly. Like if you could research what other cities have done or what we could do here in Grantsville to maybe reduce those fees for those people, I think that would help our community, and we can still get the things we need without hurting the most vulnerable in our community. Thank you
Thank
for the
you.
work you do.
Good evening, Louise Simpson, citizen. So several meetings ago, I had asked a few questions. But I first off want to say on the rodeo, I too grew up in a small town in the country, Wyoming, beautiful, and we had wonderful rodeos. I'm not opposed to having the rodeo come back. I think it would be great. But my question is, where's the funding coming from to support that? And what else can you do to raise funds to support bringing the rodeo back? The other, I asked before on the sold water shares, $18 million, I believe. What is the city's plans to do with that money? Because if it's going for something other than alleviating the burden on the citizens for that treatment plant, that should be heavily reconsidered. It should go to that and strictly for nothing else but that. I also asked you, Mayor Hammond, who we can contact at the Capitol, senators, congressmen, anybody that we could write to stress our concerns and ask for assistance from the state and let them know what predicament that this city is in and how you're putting the citizens at a financial burden
May I
here.
interrupt you for just a second on that? I have spoke with many senators and with their staff, many people at the state just in the last week, doing everything we can to address that issue. And we'll be discussing that more as we get to that
Okay.
topic.
I have worked at a company for 30 years and have been a union member of that company for 30 years. And I know the power of voice and lobbying can work wonders. But yet we have not, I asked you, you said you didn't know when I asked you.
And I've since found those
I
resources.
find that false statement because I believe you did know when I asked you. We need to get that out there so that all the citizens can send a postcard, make a phone call, anything. Because when they hear from 5,000, 6,000 people, it makes a difference rather than hearing from a few, you know?
I agree.
And so that information needs to be given to us so that we can start doing our part to alleviate this cost and stuff. But I would like an answer on the money from the water shares, how you're gonna fund the rodeo, and a precedence. Everything takes a precedence and you need to put what's the most important thing and then go down. What is second important? What is third? What can we set off for a later date? Because there has to be a plan and you can't just you know, I want this to happen. And so I'm gonna ask for the funds. There's a priority and we need to stick to that priority. And that's up to you guys to tell us what it is. What's your priority? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Arlene Nair. And first of all, I want to say that I hope that you will approve the funding for the Veterans Committee. I just think Grantsville is quite a large community these days. And before we started this project, my husband and I went to all the outlying communities around here. Stockton has a veterans park. Vernon has a veterans park. They're all tiny, tiny little towns, and yet they all have that. And I think it's really important that Grantsville start to honor its veterans, and I hope that you will improve the funding to start this project. We have been a lot of years working on this, and many of our committee members have actually dipped into their own pockets to try to get this going. So I really hope that this will get approved so that we can actually see something happening and that we will get this done eventually. I'm hoping sooner than later, but I realize how slow sometimes wheels turn, but I really hope that this will be a step towards getting us going towards getting this finished eventually. The second thing I just want to comment on is the rodeo. I have personally put together over probably 20 rodeos. I was the rodeo club advisor for Grantsville High School for 12 years, and I put on high school rodeos. We also did a jackpot for probably 5 or 6 years, maybe 10 years. I can't remember. I'm getting old. I'm one of the senior citizens that was mentioned. But I've hated seeing the arena wasted down there. So I would love to see a rodeo come back. I just hope that you all realize what a big chunk that is to chew. I've been there, done that. I know the work that's involved. I know the cost that's involved, but I would like to see it come back. And I would like to see the arena fixed up again to where that's a feasible option. The only reason we quit was because the Utah High School State Association mandated that we go up to Deseret Peak. And so it broke our hearts to leave our little hometown and go up there. And when my daughters quit rodeoing, that's when I decided that's it. I don't want to go to Deseret Peak. I don't have children involved anymore. But I hope that it can be brought back and that it will be an event that Grantsville can be proud of and that we can continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Hi, my name is Brittany Coble. I've been a resident in Grantsville for 12 years now. Moved out here to raise my kids in a small community. And I find myself struggling. Recently become a single mom, and of all the options that I had to look at, the last option was trying to leave Grantsville so that I could afford a living and provide for my kids. The increase for the sewer bill, I can't afford it. They will have to make me decide, okay, do my kids need clothes this month or do they get fruit this month? Because I have to pay a sewer bill. And I know a lot of residents feel that way. I know just from personal neighbors and friends and family that live out here that are also on a limited income. It's really going to affect them. I've had to make some extreme decisions over the past 2 years to make sure that my kids are well taken care of, at a personal sacrifice to myself. I don't provide much for myself because I need to be able to provide for my kids. And if this increase goes through, like, I can't pay it. You won't get the money from me because I don't have it. And I know you guys are working hard. I know you're trying to find all the solutions that you can, but I think just having that in the back of your minds that this was really gonna affect a lot of people, and so I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
My name's Diane Alvord. I'm here about the sewer meeting tonight. In the letter that we got from the city, it says that the cost of a new fine bubble diffuser, biological nutrient removal treatment facility with tertiary, you know that word, filtration and disinfection, it's called the project. My question is this system that we're putting in with the sewer, with the sewer containment project in the system that is filtering, do we need this type of filtration system? Is it the system that has all the bells and whistles and it's gonna be all great? Or is it just gonna meet what we need? Can we lower the costs by doing something that's just gonna get us through what we need instead of having all this extra things? It sounds really wonderful, this fine bubble diffuser biological nutrient removal treatment facility. Do we need all that? And can we lower the costs of this project by having something that is more manageable for our city? So if you can consider that as reducing the cost for us, that the citizens really can't afford to have these rates. So that's what I wanted to address tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mark Nielsen, I just wanted to comment on the lady that had suggested and mentioned earlier, and even the gentleman there, hey, there is, you guys gotta remember, man, the state of Utah, every state does have an attorney general. You do need to check, no offense to our great city police and that, but I did have an issue with the city individual, and you don't go to the city, like I said, no offense, because they work for these guys, you go through the sheriff. We just wasn't able to do it because the guy was not willing to fill out a statement. So you guys want your voices heard, believe me, it's easier than what you think it is out there, man. When you find illegal activity like these guys are doing, like I said, hey, you send it out and do that. I mean, she won't answer your questions. I mean, so, hey, I'll help you out some here, but yeah, I mean, do that. So don't be afraid. I mean, yeah, like I said, no one's above the law. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments? Anything on Zoom? Okay, we will close our public comment and move on to agenda item number 2, summary action items. The approval of the minutes from the March 25th, 2026 City Council regular meeting. These are not completed, so we will have them ready for the April 15th meeting. And with that, we will move to approval of the bills. Do any of the council members have any questions or concerns on the bills?
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the bills.
So motion by Councilmember Butler. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Councilmember Dalton. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We will now move to item number 3, a presentation of a community enhancement grant for the Grantsville Fire Department.
Taking pictures.
Sounds good. Good afternoon, or good evening, council. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Nick Jenkins. I work with Rocky Mountain Power. Had a great opportunity to have a lot of really good conversations with Chief Remick over the last, I don't know, you've been in a year now?
Coming up.
I appreciate the great work you're doing. I know you know, but just for the record, I wanted to state Grantsville City has a volunteer fire department that is committed to protecting and providing dependable emergency service response, fire suppression, rescue services, and public safety education. Our firefighters respond to a wide range of incidents from fires, medical calls, gas leaks, carbon monoxide alarms, and vehicle accidents. In addition to the emergency operations, they offer programs to promote fire prevention, preparedness, safety awareness for the residents, for our schools, and for our local businesses. The department serves about 17,000 people. They serve Grantsville, and they also serve the surrounding areas. It's a pretty impressive thing to do. It's a lot of dedicated individuals. I've had the opportunity to stack chairs and smooth floors next to these guys for the last several years. Chief Remick caught me, I want to say at the Veterans Breakfast. And he said, "Hey, Nick, I know you guys do grants. We need some help. We need some fire equipment. We need some, it's air monitoring equipment is what it is." And to think that we're asking our guys to go into situations where they're safe. In the letter that Neil wrote, he mentioned that there was a time when they had to call a backup truck to make sure, because the call wasn't what they thought it was until they got there, and had to wait and keep old folks in the cold until the right equipment could be there. Rocky Mountain Power, we've got a check today for $5,000 for Chief Remick to get the equipment that he needs.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Chief. Thank you.
Picture with the council.
I'd love to, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What's that? What do you want, Martin?
Back there.
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3, smile. Perfect.
Appreciate your support. Thank you very much, Rocky Mountain Power. That is wonderful and very needed for our fire department, so thank you. Item number 4, consideration of approving resolution 2026-17, awarding the contract for professional landscape and memorial design services for the Veterans Memorial Park to Fritz Custom Concrete. I don't know who's speaking on this.
I can speak to it. I guess pretty straightforward. We got the bids in for the Veterans Park. It came in about $131,000. A little offset from what the other bids were. We're kind of surprised at the other bids because we reduced the scope and they came in a lot higher than the original first bid. So we're kind of confused at that, but we're happy that Fritz came in at what it is. So we're hoping the council will approve it tonight, and then we'll work with them to finalize the contract and get started on the Veterans Park.
And there is, I just want to make a comment that there is a lot of funds that have been raised and set aside for this project. So this is not coming out of the general budget. This is something that's been being saved for and worked for a very long time.
Correct. We have 180,000 in the budget for this line item right now.
Council members have any comments or questions on these bids?
What should you say again? Sorry, I missed it.
It's on your screen, 131.
No, what did we have?
One.
Oh, 180,000.
Yeah.
No, 108 you have in the coffers, is that what he said?
I think 180.
I think it would be good to kind of maybe give a little history, just publicly on this. I know originally, this has already been bid out once. And then those costs came in higher than anticipated. And so there was approach to go back and reduce sidewalks and cut areas out to try to make it pencil more. What's disconcerting is some of these numbers that we did receive are more than what the original number was. But I just wanted to share that this has been a long, arduous process, I think, to get it to try to land within a budget.
And I think it has with our budget, and so we're hoping that there's not many change orders or anything like that, and that we can use some of that extra money to maybe get some of the grass put back into place. if that's at all possible in this regard, so that we can not just have just the concrete there, but we can do more than that with the money we have in budget. So staff does recommend council approve this bid.
I just had one comment in regards to the schedule that is proposed by the contractor. Just looking at it in July and just knowing what happens there at the fire station on the 4th of July. I don't know if they can adjust that just a week or so and start after the week of the 4th. That may be better for the community and for the events we have there at the fire station.
From what I understand, the work is supposed to be completed before the 4th of July.
Oh, I thought I saw on there from July 1 to August
No,
15th.
am I correct?
No, from my understanding, it was.
Okay.
He's in his bid, he said he would do it in June, but
Okay.
once we'll have to get a contract with them and then talk about schedule.
There will be that 30-foot portion that we can utilize for that. We just gotta make sure that we're gonna try to see if we can keep it watered.
Try to not
That's in July.
damage that. Yeah, it'd obviously have to be fenced off or something.
Correct.
Okay.
And hand watered probably
And hand
for a
watered.
little while. Yeah.
Or
But that is a great concern, because if it's not done or gets delayed, we do need to factor that in what we're gonna do with that. So I do agree with that.
Because a lot of times those chairs go out into that grassy area. So
So you're not wrong.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-17, awarding the contract for the professional landscape and memorial design services for the Veterans Memorial Park to Fritz Custom Concrete.
I second it.
We have a motion by Council Member Butler and a second by Council Member Thomas. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Congratulations to the veterans.
Thank you so much.
And we can't wait to see this get started, so thank you.
Thank you for your hard work.
The next item is a public hearing to receive input on the issuance of sewer revenue bonds to finance wastewater treatment plant improvements. We have received a number of comments from the public through email, which have been distributed to the council and entered into public records. So those have all been, they have all seen those emails. The floor is open if anyone would like to speak on this matter. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing.
Even online.
Is there anyone online? No, okay. We'll close that item. And move on to number 6. Consideration of approving resolution 2026-18, awarding the contract for construction of the Grantsville City wastewater treatment plant to VanCon Incorporated. Is Robert online? Who will be presenting this item?
If you want, Christie.
Robert is online as well.
Perfect. We'll have Christie present this. She was pretty much involved in a lot of the bidding process.
So again, all contractors were pre-qualified. And so as the bid came in, since they were all pre-qualified, we were going with the lowest bid, which was VanCon.
Does anybody have any questions on the bid process?
How many bids do you know? And what was the amount that they bid for? There were 6 companies that bid, and it came in, I believe, 43 million.
700,000.
Thank you. 43,700,000.
Go down to that
And they
slide
range
there.
from that to 65 million.
65 million.
something.
So there's like a $20 million
Million.
range.
Yep.
In between there, so widespread. So we're very pleased that it at least came in within our proposed engineer budget, because it could have been a whole lot worse at 60 million or even 50, where we'd have to go and decide how we're gonna to fund even more. And it's the cost plus the equipment, because the equipment is also
Already
needed in the-
pre-selected.
Yeah, it was pre-selected, and we reserved those prices from last year to this year, so they've been set there. And so that's the range, as it says, from 43 to 63.
Christie, I'll ask you a direct question. Maybe you can answer a question that someone brought up a little bit earlier. Talk about the necessity of this plant for the council and for the members of the audience.
So again, the state has created new regulations for our effluent water. That's the water that is processed after it goes through the process. The lagoons can no longer do this process. We had to go to a mechanical plant. Anybody in the state that has lagoons will have to eventually go to a mechanical plant. The city went and did a study next to figure out what plant to go. And I know it has a long name, but this is not the highest expensive plant that you can buy. In fact, when we first went through the process, we cut everything we could cut down to make it only what we need for right now to make sure that we are in compliance. If we do not put in a mechanical plant and are not compliant by December of 2028, then we could be fined up to $10,000 a day.
One of the things to add to that is, one of the main things that we did cut is the water, the effluent water that's gonna come out of this is not, we can't at this point use it on your yards at this point. It would be only used for like a farmer's field. We'd have to implement another scrubber to this would cost closely around $3 to $5 million that we'd have to add on top of this to make it clean enough to use in your yards. So we're still working with the state to try and utilize and get an effluent permit, but that is not included in this cost. And if the city chooses and gets that permit and chooses to do that and use it for that purpose, later in that time, we'll have to get that and to purchase those items to add to this plant. So there has been a lot of stuff we have left out that we're not using or won't be using right away.
And this plan is somewhat modular, meaning we can
That's
add
correct.
a wing to
So-
it. So as the city grows in the future,
Yes, there's room to add another headworks line. There is room to the west to add another clarifier. We wouldn't use sorry, I don't have it right in front of me, all the systems that are being in place, but that can be added to.
And so this plant its usages for about 1 million gallons a day to 3 million gallons a day. It can go up to 8 on the high flow days, but its main range is from 1 to 3 million. So it's not any higher than that. We can expand it when it's there because we have a lot of the stuff to be expandable once that development comes. When that development comes to expand, as Robert will be able to point out, that's where a lot of the new development can pay for that, because that will be that new growth factoring it in. The problem that we're having now is that we need it for our current residents.
The flows right now are averaging around how many?
1 million to 1.5 million.
And then high flow days?
Around 1.5 million.
1.5 million.
Mhm.
And we're pretty much at peak capacity, right?
Correct.
but my understanding is we're not because of the silt and sludge that's in those ponds, we're not getting the full capacity of what we have there currently anyways, right?
Yeah, we can't fill the ponds the way they were designed either. Correct. Where is this plant going to be built? So the same place the sewer lagoons are now. Which is?
On Ray Street.
Towards the freeway, 280?
Diane, unfortunately, you can't ask questions, but,
Okay.
yeah, typically you don't have to ask questions, so. appreciate it.
But we can't answer the question.
Yeah, but we can answer the question. The sewer treatment plant's going pretty much right where it is, but just a little bit to the west. And, you know, in the past, we've gone through these plans and looked at them at length and we know right where we're going. Engineering services started about when, Christie, with Aqua Engineering?
soon. I don't remember exact dates.
No, when
I'm
did
sorry.
they start? When did they start? When did like Aqua Engineering
Yeah,
start with the engineering of the plant? How long have we been planning?
we're
for
planning
this?
this.
Yeah,
Well, first we did the study. So Aqua started with the study back in, I don't remember if it was 2020 or 2021, because we had to do the study first to decide what plant to put in and what capacity we would need. So then once we finished that, then they went to engineer the plant. And then after the engineering, then we went out to bid. So,
So 2019, the law came into effect
mhm.
with the
Then we went to,
requirement
went to council to say,
and the process started.
yes.
So I think, I know there was a number of questions regarding, you know, timing and budgets and I kind of wanted to hit on a couple of those specifically. I mean, obviously, prior councils worked with within the budget that they had at the time. So I'm not going to throw anything back to 2019. I mean, I think our city planner said it best. You know, maybe 1977 is probably when we should have start planning and being prepared for it. I know this council last year raised the rates, which was unfortunate, but that, you know, that brought in, you know, $4.5 million that can be put towards this. So there was a comment made that there's no dollars accounted for, and that's incorrect. There's $4.5 million in there that will be able to be put towards this. This one for me is really one of the hardest. I knew when I ran for this office that this would be something that we would have to try to figure out. The fact is that the need is based from the state, and the need is created from the current residents. It is not something that is due to growth. Our growth is happening at 1 to 3% and will continue to happen within those parameters probably. And so, you know, so is there an easy answer in this? I've not found one. I know I've spent a lot of sleepless nights. I know on this, I think from a city staff standpoint, we've spent a lot of time on this and we've gotten to this point. I was encouraged to see that we did have one subcontractor that came within that range, although, you know, that number doesn't look great to me. I don't think any number looks great. When you're talking these types of infrastructures, they're usually a once every 50-year, 40-year life cycle type decision. So, and I'm probably speaking in a circle here, but I've really taken this decision very, very it's been a very, very internal battle, trying to determine what we have to have and how do we go about getting that. And I think we have got to a point where we have moved closer to a solution. I don't know if it's the solution, meaning I feel that there probably is some other avenues we can still investigate and attack. But I think this is the best solution based on everything everyone has put efforts into getting to. So that's my point.
I think we've all spent a few sleepless nights over this. This is not a fun decision. And it has been discussed considerably for the last several years of how to accomplish what has to be accomplished in the least amount of impact to the citizens. That is everybody up here's greatest concern, is how do we impact the citizens the least? And I say citizens, it affects us just the same as it affects you. We will all be facing the same rate increase, which is not fun. Does anyone have any other comments they'd like to make?
So we're not going to discuss rate
The
settings. That's the
next-
next
yeah,
resolution.
So this is just
Okay.
about the.
This is
the
just
bid. So
regarding
whether
that.
the council would like to approve the
Okay.
bid and proceed with that. And then give the staff the permission to start negotiations, get the contract in place and sign that.
My only comment on the bid is just, it's amazing how much it's gone up in 2 years. And my fear is if we were to delay, or I don't even think it's an option to extend another 5 years or whatever with the state. I just think the cost just keeps trucking on up. I don't know that there's any limit. That's as far as the bid. I mean, that's my only comment is it's crazy how much it went up in 2 years. And I fear if we don't get going and get it built, then the cost just keeps going up. That's just my bid comment.
I think from what we see there, we did get a great price.
Yeah.
It's within the budget. In fact, it's less than the initial budget that they had mentioned to us just a few weeks ago before the bids came in. So as we've been discussing this for the last month and a half, 2 months at length, for this specific item. So I mean, that's a good price. And, as far as I'm concerned, being somewhat in this line of work, Vancon's a good contractor. So.
I don't have anything on this. I'll wait till our next
Okay.
item. So I just want to make sure they've committed to meet the time deadlines we're under, correct? And that's spelled out pretty clearly in the bids, correct?
Yes.
And
They were all pre-qualified, so we made sure that they had done this kind of work before. They've done kind of plans for similar stuff to that.
yeah.
And this has a bid bond on and per performance or
Yeah, they'll be bonds.
performance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve resolution 2026-18 awarding the contract for the construction of the Grantsville City wastewater treatment plant to Vancon Incorporated.
We have a motion by Councilmember Butler. Is there a second?
I second it.
A second by Councilmember Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 7. Consideration of approval of ordinance 2026-12, adjusting the sewer rate in connection with the wastewater treatment plant improvements and associated sewer revenue bonds.
So Robert Roussel.
And Robert Roussel will present this. The engineer for the project will present this to us, and he is on Zoom.
Yeah, so this is Robert Roussel with Ensign Engineering. Yeah, so what was presented last week, we had updated it pretty quick with the bid that we received. We did go back based on some comments from City Council and made a few changes and tried to just see if there was anywhere where we could get this, increase lower. One of them was just looking back at the upsize costs for that West Bank Interceptor project. So that, we looked at what they would have required, which was a 24-inch, and what will be built, which is a 36-inch. So that upsize cost has been updated. It's lower. So that brought the cost down. I will say, though, that the pioneer agreement with Deseret and then the actual construction costs have not been provided or agreed to by the city. So that is subject to change. But, we believe we're right in there with that upsize costs. And then we also adjusted that fiscal year 2027 increase for commercial, non-residential. So it's a little bit less to help bring in more business because, the city is roughly 3%, businesses to kind of help pay for more of these, projects moving forward. And then the last one, we were just checking through all of our spreadsheets and the spreadsheet was using a 20-year bond. And we've updated that with the 30-year term and then that 5.052 interest rate. And then the private bond amount we used was 25.15 million because there is some cash on hand to be able to to lessen that blow, as far as the increase. So sort of the changes and yeah, if you keep going to probably that last page, it shows,
To that one.
keep going a couple more. Yeah, that last table there, go up. Yep, that one. Yeah, so this shows you kind of what the projections are. And as a reminder to everybody, yeah, we're trying to hit that 1.25 debt service coverage ratio as a minimum, and then the days cash on hand of 182 days. And you can see in 2028 you get pretty close to that, but then we're staying above that, from there on out. And we've covered it in previous meetings, but the city is looking at other ways to get some additional funding from the state, which could lessen future increases. And some of this this end of year cash balance that accumulates over time could also lessen that as well in the future.
As I mentioned earlier, we have spoke with several people at the state looking for funding and looking for loans that could be applied to this at a much lower interest rate. At the present time, we're only able to get 16 million at the 0.075%. And we've asked for an additional amount, which we were not awarded. However, there were some bills in legislation this year that may allow us to get some additional funding more in the 1.75 to 2% rather than the 5%, which is what is on this rate analysis. If those applications are not even accepted until the middle of May, which we will definitely be applying for, and then they won't be awarded until the middle of the summer. If those are awarded and we are able to lower the interest rate, it will obviously take the rates down for every household. And we will be able to bring this back to council to adjust the rates. So that is our hope, is that we can get some of that funding at a much lower interest rate, and that will definitely help. Obviously, it's not going to alleviate the entire rate increase, but it will hopefully help. And those aren't guarantees, so they're just hopes at this point that we can make those applications to the point that we can get this lowered, the interest rate lowered. So that will help, but all we can do is wait for those applications to be accepted at this point.
Mayor, do you know on hand, or Michael, how much money we have in the fund that we've saved up for this?
I think it says right there on the top at the beginning, it's close to the 5 million.
Okay.
I don't know the exact number right now with the fluctuation, maybe Aspen's on.
Aspen is on.
That's good. I hope I didn't misspeak that number.
No, you were
You were
not.
really good.
There's stuff in the funds. I know there's at least 4 million. I just don't know.
And where did those funds come from?
From the rates.
From the rates
That you approved the last council meeting, those were collecting. They were less than what they were doing, so we're prepping for this. It was more than what they thought before, and so we adjusted that with this rate study to increase to the actual amount. Now that we know the bid, now that we know kind of a rough estimate, we still don't know exactly locked in yet for the actual private bond. So that rate may increase, or the interest rate may be going up depending on how that goes. And so we want to lock that in as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And that will come before council right now. Once we get the rates approved, then we can lock in the private bond, because the private bond holder won't issue or give us that bond unless they know that we can meet that. And so we have to pass this. They would prefer that it's implemented first, but they say that it's okay as long as we pass it and have an implementation date.
And that bond amount, sorry. Go ahead.
The implementation date is what day?
July. It would be
first,
the
right?
same time when we would have implemented the previous rate, it would just be separate or different than where we have. If, Robert, do you want to go over the rate page and, okay, but yes, it would be.
Yeah, I just
implemented
wanted the direct
in Ju-
answer to the
In
question.
July, yep.
Yes. Okay, great. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just, and that rate is that, so on that bond, we have the option to pay, move, refinance.
Well, we haven't got it yet, but that is
Yes,
the
but that is
proposed
what
one.
we're,
Yes,
that's
what
what
we're going
we're
after.
looking at.
Yes.
So as Mayor mentioned, if there becomes a better option for us, we can take that option and not, and
No
it won't have a
penalty.
financial impact.
Correct. We can go and refinance that, and then maybe when we actually, because there's a lot of people speak about the water credit money. We still don't have that as a check, so that's, again, just a hypothetical that he may default on that contract and we don't get it. Doubt it, but we still don't have it in a check, so it's tough to use that money right now when we actually don't have it. And so he did exercise his extension on that, so he has till like, I believe sometime in June to get that to us. So we're still a couple months out from then to even get a check on that. So we would prefer that we implement these rates right now, and then on those other options where we can see if we get that funding from the state, we're gonna apply for the entire private bond that we put in there to try and get that lower interest rate. And if that's the case, and then when hopefully we do get that water credit money, we can determine at that point how much then of that can go to here to try to offset some of those rates. And so we will be going after all of those funds. Not only that, because it's the House Bill 492 is the one the mayor was referring to. They've been allotted $100 million in that fund. And talking to the governor's office, they've recommended that we apply for the entire private bond that we've had. We can also, and have been encouraged to go back and to the state that originally gave us the $16 million bond this year and ask them for more funding as well. We're definitely gonna look into doing that as well. So there's two sources of funding that we'll be going after. Even if this rate is approved tonight, that we'll try to reduce it even further.
I just have something I'd like to just clear up. I was sworn in January of 2024, not in 2022. And the rate increases that happened in July of 2024 and in July of 2025, I voted for because of this, because of that number that needed to be up there to help lessen this blow. So, I mean, I think you, Jeff, and Mayor, you were in the same boat.
Right.
Over the last, 2 years and 3 full months. So we've known about this for all that time, and we've been preparing for it since we were elected. Been one of our biggest topics of conversation. So it's not a surprise.
I was gonna say, not to give an excuse to those past administrations, but it is tough to raise a rate if you don't know how much like your plant size is gonna be and a proposed amount. It's tough to come out and just pick a number and say, oh, I guess we're gonna need a new plant, let's raise it 10% this year, 20%, not knowing what that ultimate number is. Predictions on when they could come and get that, but again, there's a process that they did go through here. Not saying that they could have done it faster or slower, but with government, there is a process. So when they did find out, as Christy pointed out, they did actually do the study to determine what type of plant they needed to have.
Which was the right approach. Do the study, find out what you need, then have it designed. Yeah, and that takes time, unfortunately, so.
There was a comment earlier about just, usage. So just to be clear, maybe we can go to the proposed rates. We're actually lowering the base rate from $53 and some change, $53.60 to $40, and then utilizing a 1,000-gallon per calculation, so $5.56 per 1,000 gallons used on average through the months of November to March, right?
Correct.
And so that we thought that was a step in the right direction to help lessen the blow for those individuals that might have a single person living in a home or just an elderly couple. They might not use the average of 5,000 gallons in a given month. And so they might use two. I mean, I don't know, I guess it depends. So that was the approach we took, and that's the direction we gave you, Robert, in the last meeting, to actually lower that base fee from $53.60 to $40, and then to move that usage fee per 1,000 gallons. So we have tried to equalize that out for those that have homes where they have, 7, 8, 9, 12 individuals living in a home and use a lot of water. So.
And a lot of that came from the public comments.
Yes.
Suggested that our bill ought to be based off of usage. So we listened, and this is the usage calculation.
This is something that Grantsville's never done before, so moving to a usage. But I think hearing what this hopefully takes burden off of, single, in situations where, it bases it off the user and usage. So I feel that we were listening to citizens in that regard, trying to, because I know this was a concern of the council as well.
My concern, and I talked to Michael about this a few weeks ago without even having anyone else bring it up, but I think if with this, we need to pass it with something in there that we create an assistance program for the elderly or low income. And I'd be happy to spearhead it, research it, bring it back to the council. But I think that's something that we really need to look into and see if, I know other cities, not in Utah, but there's other states and cities do it. And I would be happy to look into that and try to get some ideas on how to make that possible. But I think that's a important thing that we need to look at. There are those people that are on a fixed income, low income, that this will hurt, especially when it gets to, 20, 30 to, and beyond. I mean, even next year, it's gonna be tough, so.
July.
Yeah, for people, so, I'd be happy to do that, but I think that we need to maybe with the motion include that that's something that the city researches and sees if we can come up with a program like that.
I know that was a comment tonight, and I feel, I think that looking at options there, I think the biggest leverage we're going to have in my mind is to try to attack it from every angle. So whether that's looking at this new House bill and that option, just looking at other options, the water credit has been brought up in that setting. I would support, because that is an asset of the citizens, I would support using that asset to lighten the burden of the citizens. And so, or some other form or fashion to duplicate that into some other funds that could be used in this setting. So there's a lot of options out there, and I know, I feel like the staff is really exhausted what options we have available to us right now. It's a timing issue and something that has to be done. And move forward on, and then fortunately, we have to maybe do them, look at some retroactive, and that doesn't mean it couldn't come back to the council with a reduction if we were to implement those, so.
Right, and we review these rates every year.
Yeah.
Well, and we can review this before July too. If something
absolutely.
changes.
Yeah.
We can shift gears and change the rate if needs be. There's just,
Right.
I mean, right now, the important thing is to pass it as is, so that we hit the debt service charge ratio in our forecast moving forward, so that the bond that we get is rated high enough so individuals will invest in it.
Correct.
That's the important part, according to Zions Bank.
Right, and the implementation date.
Yeah, and the implementation date, which, we did just approve the awarding of the contract, so now we haven't signed the contract yet, but we've approved it, right?
Yes.
So. We don't see it up there, and I hate to, really bring it up or even put any focus on it, but, 2024, if we had that year up there, and maybe Robert remembers what the rate was in 2024, but the 40-30 we see up there was a significant increase from 2024 to 2025. So, but if I remember right, that rate had stayed the same since 2018, if I remember right. So.
Yeah, I think it went from like 28 to 40. It was it was a pretty good jump.
It was a 30+% increase.
Which is why we have some funds to put towards it now.
Robert, you just confirmed that?
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been around 30. Yep. Previously, that 33 and the 33 was those first two increases.
I think it may be worth mentioning to citizens if they want to locate those and the history of those, you can pull them up on the utility section of our website, which has each individual ordinance that's passed from year to year and shows those rate changes. So just so you can kind of walk that back. I spent a lot of time in that, unfortunately.
Just want to make sure that this is how it will work for this year. So every resident will get the base fee off of the average that we've done it, but then next year we'll go off of their usage, or how are we gonna do that for this coming up year? Are we gonna individualize everybody's usage for the last months, and then that's what their what am I trying to say? Like
I know what
I
you're
know what
trying
you're
to
trying to
say.
say. So from what I understood from the last 3 council meetings we've had, we will take the average of November 2025 to yesterday.
Yep.
And we'll get the average of the usage per month, water usage, because people aren't watering their lawns necessarily, and so, albeit we probably should, thank goodness for the rain today, right? That's a little tangent, but nonetheless, that average per month. So if my average is 8,500 gallons for per month, for the last few months, then I'll be 8,000 times that, 556.
Okay, so that's my question. Are we going off our individual? Are we gonna get that data? Are we going off the citywide for this first?
Individual data.
Individual.
And that's
Right,
the
starting in
beauty part of
July.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are 9 people in my home.
Yeah.
And some homes just have 2.
And then the direction going forward would be to meter that correctly.
We already have it metered,
We already
and it's
have it
per month.
Okay.
And so that's why we're trying to get that collection on a daily basis to make it more accurate.
Okay, yeah. Not monthly, daily.
But it's still gonna be the average of what it is.
Right.
And that, again, that's more for leak detection and other things, but as a secondary benefit that you get more accurate averages, but yeah. So we would implement it, to answer your question, would go on everyone's data that we currently have, and then for those who just move in or don't have that data collected, that'd be just the base average.
Anything?
Are there any other questions?
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve ordinance 2026-12, adjusting the sewer rate in connection with the wastewater treatment plant improvements and associated sewer revenue bonds as presented by Ensign Engineering.
My second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Butler and a second by Councilmember Thomas. All in favor?
Can we
Go ahead.
add the assistance that the city will
I,
research?
I'll add this, to my motion, with the direction that, council member Dalton, discussed about providing, some sort of, assistance, for those individuals who apply and are accepted for that application. So.
Like get a study to do that, to present to council?
I think some sort of ways or means in which we can,
I think we could say researching, that we will research ways to implement a
We need to
program.
find funding sources in which line item we'd want to pay that out of.
I will research it, bring it to the council, and if we need to do like a further study, then we can go that route, but I can research it and then bring it to you guys. If we just want to, so then we're not spending any study fees, like I can reach out to other municipalities and
I think that'd be
see
great.
what works.
Okay,
I agree with that.
so we have a motion by Councilmember Butler that has been revised, and are you still wanting to second that, Councilmember Thomas? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 8, consideration of approving resolution 2026-20, awarding a contract for rodeo stock services to Broken Heart Rodeo Company LLC. And Shelby will present that.
Can you switch it on? Yes. So I'm going to play a video for you guys and just get you excited about this at first, and then we'll kind of get into the nitty gritty of the rodeo. It shows online. See. I did that, so that's you, but. There we go. Ooh. There's nothing. Let's see if they'll just do volume off my phone or off my laptop. Sorry, I have to run it off 2 screens. So that's what we could have at Grantsville.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. But I hope that makes you guys excited to see something like that. That we can potentially have. So we did receive a bid from Broken Heart Rodeo Company, and you can go ahead and pick it back. They are providing all of the livestock, the timers, the judges. They are providing everything to the city to help put this rodeo on. And out of the 3 bids that we received, it was the one that was affordable, but provided everything that the city needed to put this rodeo on. That way we're not going out and getting separate bids for someone to bring in, 8 team roping steers and 8 breakaway calves and judges and all that. So it was great to have a proposal put together nicely like this that provides everything the city needs to put a rodeo on.
Clown.
No, I was gonna say, no clown?
Got that covered too.
Yes.
How's it gonna be?
We're gonna draw straws.
Come on, Rhett, we'll put you in the barrel.
Yeah.
I said we have Jerry Hurst too.
I asked.
Maybe Brad.
So, and I do have some answers, and I went through and figured out projected income and sponsors and ticket sales and entry fees and things like that, which I'm happy to answer. I'm happy to answer other questions, and I do have been with Broken Heart Rodeo online as well.
Okay. I want to start by just thanking you for this, you know, for the idea of this and the work that you put in for this. I know I think this hits a lot of strings of a lot of people within the community. Obviously, you know, we are the Cowboys, Grantsville,
Yes,
right?
we are.
So, and we do have the facility, and it unfortunately hasn't had the I mean, it has been used, but it hasn't been used in this fashion. So those are all the goods. So let me tell you my concerns.
Yeah.
So, I think the concern that I have is timing. You know, for a couple months away, is that time to do this and maybe do it right? Or do we do it and sort of do it okay, and then hopefully the next year we do it better? I know the facilities, and I spent a little bit of time a couple of days ago walking through, and I mean, we have a pavilion there that doesn't get used at all. I could envision seeing, you know, food trucks and little business, you know, making it a neat opportunity. I can see the potential. It's just, you know, obviously the concerns that several citizens brought up, I have that same concern. It's just like, how do we do this and make it not be a burden on the citizens, right? And I think there's a way to do that.
Absolutely.
I just think we have some assets there that have been depreciating, and and so they're going to take a little TLC to make whole. But yeah, I just wanted to say I appreciate you driving this one. I think this is something that can build community togetherness and another opportunity similar to the 4th of July that allows for people to get together and meet and enjoy, and things that we need more of, honestly.
No, thank you for bringing that up. And Monday, we did have a small volunteer committee meet, go look at the grounds, see what needs to be fixed. We've had inspections of the bleachers from the fire department as well as the building department to see what repairs we have or are needed. And then I have had interest in sponsoring as well as vendors wanting to attend and set up their and food trucks. So yes, a month and a half is a tight timeline, but you have two strong-willed women here that will get it done, and we'll make sure it's done right.
Shelby, do you want to talk a little bit about the promised sponsorships that you have received already in just 2 days effort?
Yes, so overall, we have received a promise sponsorship of 16,500 already. And that is in between 4 sponsors, and we still have a few spots left, and our goal is 30,000. And I think if we can hit 16,000 in 2 days, we can hit the 30,000 in no time.
I have a couple of friends that do rodeo and on circuit and stuff, and I actually reached out to both of them to ask them what their thoughts were. This was months ago when it was conceptual. And I know a number of them volunteered their time and resources, you know, whatever we can do to. But they hit one of the comments that kind of hit me is his comment is making sure that the payouts, the winnings are more than the entry fees.
Yes, absolutely.
Meaning that those that he mentioned that just because obviously, I mean, I'm sure they love to go compete and be called first, you know, but being able to take something away from that, I think is important. And then I think that lends to the tradition that it can create, meaning if they're coming here from Evanston or whatever to do it, you know, they'll come back again if it works for them, right? So
Yeah.
trying to anyway.
Absolutely. So added money is important and I have figured in 500 per event for added money. The base requirement is 200 per event, but between sponsorships and the other projected sales, we were able to bump that up to 500.
Please, go ahead.
No, so I have share the same concerns Jake was just talking about. Couple of questions. So entrance, have you talked to people that would be willing to come out here? Cause this is great, but what if no one signs up to come ride the bulls, do the team roping, all that kind of stuff? Have you-
Yeah.
What's the interest on that? Yeah.
Good. No, that's a great question. And so that's why we chose to go with a RMPRA sanctioned rodeo. So that is going to bring the contestants here, because if they don't win that added money or they don't come to these rodeos and get those points, then they lose out on the eligibility for the year-end awards. And so, yes, if you're not a member of the RMPRA, you can still apply. It is an increased entry fee, but as a member of the RMPRA, you are eligible for year-end points and awards.
And then I just wanted to make a comment that, I mean, I've had at least a dozen people reach out to me. And with everything that's been on the agenda lately, it's been a breath of fresh air because everybody asks how they can help, what they can do. And I haven't heard one negative thing. Well, can't say one, you know, there's always someone that's concerned about something, which is, I
Valid.
get it, but I've heard nothing but good things and people excited about it and I sent them your way. I don't know if they've reached out, but I mean, you don't get a lot of positivity, doing all of this. So it was great to actually hear people in support of something and want something to come back to Grantsville. So thanks for your hard work and wanted to bring something like this back.
Thank you.
Shelby, will you go over the numbers of like ticket sale potentials and?
Yeah, absolutely. So total entry fees after we subtract what goes back to the RMPRA, what goes to judges and the 500 added, that leaves us at 7,000. And then if we sell the tickets at the projected amount, then that's 10,170. Projected sponsorship that we currently have is 16,500, and then it only 10 vendors. We have way more interested than that. At $50 for a booth spot is 500, leaving us a total of $58,120 and $80. That is not subtracting out the contractor's fees or any expenses that the city will need to utilize to put together this rodeo.
I'll see if I can get you a sponsor.
Thank you. I appreciate
And
it.
then I guess
Might have a red horse.
to put in there, just to keep perspective, is that if we do proceed, and which I hope we do, continue to get a rodeo here, we want to do maintenance year round on it. So we will probably in the budget look at helping Christie out and ask for more staffing for the park department to come over here. So that is a factor that we have to consider, is that if we're gonna do this, we're gonna wanna make sure that we maintain it year round, so we don't have to have such a big hit every year when we try to get it up to par.
What has to be done currently? I mean, over there, I mean, we've got we're using the pavilion as kind of a storage shed right now.
Yep.
Right? Like,
So the pavilion, there's equipment that needs to be moved and placed elsewhere. There is a wash pad that we are going to remove. I have actually reached out to some of the rock mines up here, and they're willing to donate gravel and sand. And so we're wanting to do a community cleanup and then bring that gravel in, level out the areas around the bleacher, and then obviously mow and weed eat the weeds. And then we want to bring sand in, maintain the arena, and then look at repainting the bleachers.
And I have reached out to some painting contractors to do that, like as a service or a donation type of thing as well. So.
This is a 2-night event, right?
Correct. Friday and Saturday with slack in the morning, Saturday morning. So slack is where we have extra entry fees outside of what is during the main performance on Friday and Saturday.
like the mutton busting and the whole
Oh, we'll do the whole thing.
Everything.
We're gonna put a mare on a horse.
About how many people do we think we can hold with the stands that we have and the areas around that? I believe you're calling tailgating spots, right? And about how many spectators could we expect?
That's a great question. So currently our bleachers, and we are looking at portable bleachers, but our bleachers can hold 817 attendees. And then we are projecting, and I'm gonna go out there and actually measure, but 20 to maybe 30 tailgate spots a night. And those tailgate spots will allow 6 individuals with each tailgate spot. And then you're gonna have your contestants that are gonna be there as well.
So we're talking like 1,000-person event. So I'll throw it on the flip side. Derek said, what if no one comes? I'll say, what if we have 2,500 people come and then we have a big problem?
Yes.
I think, maybe putting ticket sales out there early and then we can gauge like how many individuals will be potentially planning on coming. There's a lot we can do on social media and whatnot for that. And then we can plan whether we do need to bring in portable bleachers to be able to accommodate those extra spectators.
Oh, that's a great point. So we've actually talked about doing a ticket pre-sale. And so if you purchase from, tomorrow until May 15th, they're $10 tickets. And then at the gate, they would be 15 the day of. Yep.
Similar to
And
what
if
the
you've
sociable
sold more
does.
than 1,000, then
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
stopping.
Yes.
Or we're accommodating more.
Or we're
bleachers.
getting more bleachers, right? And I have a whole list of bleacher rental places that I can reach out to.
That'd be a good problem to have.
That'd be a good problem to have.
So I've drove past when there's been smaller events going on and seen kind of the nightmare on Clark Street.
Yep.
What kind of parking logistics setup do you guys have planned? Has that been talked about or?
Yeah. Can I actually plug back in?
Using the lot.
Yeah. So and I actually have an overview
across
image.
the street.
So the lot, that is where the sheep are. Sorry, I just kind of put this together tonight. So here, you'll come in here, there's going to be parking here, where, some people know it's where the sheep are. And then over here, we have parking as well. And then I've highlighted areas in green where there can be street parking and where there is no parking allowed. So like, in these areas, this is where we'd have like our tailgate parking, and then you could have some tailgate parking here. This is where we want our vendors and food trucks. And then we could bring in more stands here and bleachers.
How's our restroom facilities? Or are we going to just, put in porta potties and hand washing stations?
So,
If you have that many people, we'll have to bring in some.
yes,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Our restrooms there are working now.
Okay.
But yeah, you'd need more.
Well, it's got a lot of potential. My kids have been saying for years, we need a Grantsville Days rodeo. I actually love the time frame. It'll be one of the first rodeos of the season, right?
Correct.
I love, Memorial Day. Obviously this is, 250 with the 4th of July. This is a great kickoff to that weekend in the summer. I believe graduation's the day before.
2 days before, yeah.
Is it Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday this year.
Mhm.
So, kids will be out of school. They'll be,
Itching to go on a vacation and see a rodeo.
well, no, maybe itching to stay home and go see
Yeah.
the rodeo, right? So I actually think the timing couldn't be better. For a town that's used to putting on events, not necessarily last minute, but Jeff, you can vouch for this. When you bring community together, people rally around it, and I think the rodeo community and the cowboy community will rally around something like this. So I don't think we'll have any trouble getting individuals to pitch in and help at all.
No, thank you.
It'll be great.
Let's do it. It's my motion. but I've made too many motions.
So I make a motion, we approve
Thank you.
resolution 26-20 awarding the contract to Rodeo Stock Services to Broken Heart Rodeo Company LLC.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Councilmember Dalton. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's do this thing. Okay.
Yeah. Saddle up.
Saddle up, that's right. Item number 9, a discussion and possible approval of an additional 10,000 in funding for the Scenic Slopes Bike Track for installation of timing equipment. Christy Dalton may be online at this point. We can check. No?
Dalton is a representative from the American Ramp Company. That's the company that is putting in our bike track up at Scenic Slopes. He approached me at the park conference that was down in St. George a couple weeks ago. And they have this new feature that he wanted to propose to us. This is timing equipment that they put under the track that people can log into with an app. And so that then with the app, it automatically times when they start and how long it takes them and when they cross the finish line. And so if it's something we would like to add to this track, then they would do it right now, but it would be an additional $10,000. When I was there, Roosevelt City came up and said they were putting it in their track and they were very excited about it. But as of the date, he'd only had one put in, but it wasn't in Utah when I talked to him a few weeks ago. So it's just a brand new feature they're coming out with.
I think he's ready to answer questions, I guess, by phone. Just a second.
Hold them up to your speaker.
Are you there, Dalton?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you hear him? Is it possible?
Everybody hear me?
Is it possible to join in our Zoom link? Or are you
Potentially,
traveling?
if you send it to me, I'm in a car, so I wouldn't
This
be
is
able to show
then
much.
we don't want you to crash. We'll just
Okay.
take this right here. Okay.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Dalton about this equipment and why we would do this now versus later? What would be the benefit of putting it in now while they're installing the equipment?
What actually is the equipment?
Yeah, give us
How does
just
it
a quick
actually work?
rundown if you can, Dalton.
It's gotta be something underneath.
Sure. So the World app is a new technology that we've rolled out, and we're trying to install them in as many tracks as possible before we officially launch the app and start marketing it. It's a digital start gate that goes underneath a part of the track. That way, whenever riders ride the track, it tracks their time, their speed. It creates a digital leaderboard where anyone on the app can see who the fastest riders are for the day, the week, the month. You can compete on a bike, scooter, a skateboard. So our goal is to have a network of these tracks. That way you guys pop up whenever someone's looking for Velo Solutions tracks to go and ride. We're putting them in Nibley and Vernal this summer, so we could swing out, install it in yours since we're already going to be building the track. And then of course the other main draw to it is the city has access to the rider statistics. So you can see how many people have been racing on your track at any day, month, year. You can organize events around it. There is no monthly fee. There's no maintenance. There's no pay to have it hooked up and then pay $300 annually. None of that stuff. It's a one-time. It goes in. There's no city IT support or electricity required.
Tell me you don't want to go try that right now.
We're gonna need an ambulance bay next to
So
this.
there's not necessarily a display or anything with this. It's all app enabled, that we're assuming that these kids or their parents are gonna be with them and they can download an app and be able to utilize it like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yep, that's correct. So we put a tester in our hometown track in Joplin, Missouri, we just built. The only difference on our track is it has that start gate under it and then a red line that says world painted across where that line is. So people know where to line up to start racing. And when they have their phone in their pocket, that's whenever it tracks all of that data. And it's been really cool to see our pump track kind of turn into a game where they'll do a lap and get their phone out and see if they beat their friend. I'm on our leaderboard. I think I'm in 28th place at the moment. So not super high up, but it's cool to see. We've kind of built a community around it.
Okay, so just so we have, a better understanding, so there's obviously sensors that you're putting into the track that will tell the phone or the app, GPS enabled, obviously, when they start and how fast they're going around the track. So that they will need to have their phone with them in their pocket as they're riding around the track.
Yes, that's correct. That's how it tracks it. So it can see where you are on the pump track and make sure you complete the entire circuit to finish a lap. It also can track the amount of laps people are riding.
So your parents couldn't, unless you want to hand your.
Yeah, unless you put your phone in the kid's pocket, right?
Yeah, I mean.
Yes.
Or a backpack or something like that.
I've seen riders with fanny packs using it. Yeah.
Can this be done retroactive or does it have to be done underneath the track itself?
If it needed to be added at a later, yeah, we could do it at a later date if that would be needed. My want to do it concurrently with your installation is whenever grand opening day happens, I think it can be a really great opportunity to see how many people are using it, riding it on that first day to have those statistics. Just to capture all the hype, the excitement and everything in that one day.
I've actually had a lot of people ask about the pump, if it was a full pump track. In having conversations, there's a lot of excitement about what that is.
So Dalton, since there haven't been very many of these installed and really us trying to understand like what it is actually we're installing, underneath and what the costs are with that. We would love to be a beta test for you. I mean, we have this number here of $10,000. I think we're possibly willing to do this. Can you make us a deal and lessen that amount a little bit? So it's a little more palatable and move it a little more towards under $10,000, not $9,999.
That's going to be my first number, so beat me to it. Yeah, what would the city be willing to entertain? I think there's ARC marketing value in it because this is a bigger park. And so I could bring that to our team and say, hey, 10,000 won't be able to work. They could do $7,500 for it. Is that something we'd be willing to approve? Would 7,500 work for you guys?
Let's change that number to 7,500. Okay.
I think the hardest part on this is trying, obviously this portion is tied into the grant, which is the reason why it's happening, obviously. And
how much did we get for the grant again, Heidi, for the record?
$750,000.
Okay, $750,000. So $7,500 is 1% of the grant total amount.
Right.
Thanks, Dalton.
Yeah, of course. Are there any other questions or anything else you guys want to chat about while I'm on here?
is there a location where people can learn more about this product and specifically what you do, website? I'm just wondering about from a marketing standpoint, getting the information out there.
Yeah. I texted Heidi over a link to the app. We also have a 2-page pamphlet that I'd emailed over. We have it on the Bello Solutions website, but since it's still an early launch, we're not marketing it super widely yet. We want to have enough tracks in ground that we can do a really big push on this.
Is it accurate? Like that's a question I have. I mean, I'm familiar with like Strava, and running and cycling competition apps. Is it similar to that?
Yes, it's very similar to Strava. And as far as accuracy, it gets down to decimal points of a second. I would know because I lost a race by 2 decimal points of a second last week.
So we're talking Michael Phelps type timing here.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Has to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dalton, sorry, go ahead, Brett.
I did have one question about the app. just for our purposes, those of us who have young kids, is the app free, number one? And does it have any in-app usage fees?
No to both of those. There's no in-app usage fees. The app is free. There are no ads, take you to a different page, anything like that. Just sign up with either your email or your phone number. You make a username. You can upload a profile picture if you want, but that's completely optional. But, we wanted to keep it focused around biking and pump tracks and creating.
Tell us about the maintenance, please.
So we're warranting these for their entirety. Obviously they're new as we're rolling them out, so we haven't had to tackle what long-term maintenance looks like on them, but that's part of the reason that you guys are able to get a good deal early discount on them. And as the product evolves, as your track continues to age, ARC is going to maintain that because it gives us a lot of value. I can send different cities and riders over to check out your track. So we want to keep it operational and functional as much as you all do.
So Don, just explain to me how this, so I pulled up my Strava app or my Spin app. How does this differ from Strava?
So it's exclusive to the pump track itself, as well as the app, and then all the other pump tracks that are going to be in the network. Past that, there aren't a lot of differences between this and Strava, except this is more focused around racing with a start and end.
Okay.
Are there, other than the start and the end, are there any other sensors that you have to put along the track? Are there, is there anything else that you install, or is it just at the start and finish?
Can more than one person?
Nope, it's just one strip that goes under it. So whenever you cross that line, it starts your lap. Whenever you cross the line again, it completes the lap. And then, as part of gamifying it, we've included things like points and badges and sharing your score. And I hit 10 tracks. Here's my review of all of them and things like that.
So, I mean, kids can line up. I mean, I can't remember how wide our track is, but kids could line up and get going, and some might have a quick start, some might have a slow start, but they can essentially all mark, set, go and head out, and their phones are timing themselves as when they cross the line to the start and then when they finish, correct?
Correct. Yes, and they will do that too. They call it making a train. I've seen 8 or 9 kids on bikes and scooters all chasing each other around them like they're in a convoy.
Next,
We need a hospital. Damn.
All right. So $7,500?
Yes, sir.
Great.
I can do $7,500.
Do you have any other questions for Dalton? Okay, thank you, Dalton. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Don't have anything else.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
What do we think? Brett just saved us $2,500, so we'll take that.
This isn't a resolution, this is a discussion.
Possible approval. Yeah, they actually are going to be here to start the track April 10th, Christie, 10th. So if they're here to do that, we kind of need to give them that direction if possible.
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the additional funding for $7,500 for the Scenic Slopes Bike Track installation of timing equipment.
I have a motion by Councilmember Butler. Is there a second?
I second.
A second by Councilmember Thomas. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. I haven't been on a bike in years, but sounds like it's time. So.
I'm gonna get an e-bike.
Yeah.
Beach Hall.
Okay, item number 10, Consideration of approving resolution 2026-19, authorizing the dissolution of the Desert Edge Public Infrastructure Districts numbers 2 through 3. And Alicia will present that for us.
So, good evening. I'm going to present this on behalf of Tom Jolly, who couldn't be with us tonight, but he's the legal counsel for the PID, the Public Infrastructure Districts, for Desert Edge. And in his email, he states that the Desert Edge PID number 1 annexed all of the land into District number 1 and received a certificate of annexation from the LG's office on March 11th, 2025. Once the annexation was completed, then they realized that they didn't, or they had district numbers 2 and 3 already in the boundaries. So on January 5th, 2026, LGI Homes Utah, which is the developer, submitted a petition to dissolve the Desert Edge PID numbers 2 and 3. And the reason for the dissolution is based on the fact that these districts are no longer needed for the purposes for which they were created and have not provided any services otherwise operated or received any bond funds, taxes or fees, or expended any such funds. So there's no outstanding indebtedness or other financial obligations. The districts are no longer required to assist in the financing of public infrastructure relating to the construction of the Desert Edge development. And the board adopted their resolution 2026-06, which is included in your packet, authorizing the dissolution of the Desert Edge PIDs number 2 and 3. And we just need a formal resolution from our council to approve it as well.
Nice housekeeping.
Yeah, just a little housekeeping, it sounds like. Is there anything that needs to be discussed on this?
I vaguely remember a council meeting last year, maybe towards the end of last year, where they came in and added some new members to their board. Had some members go out and new members, so that was probably all in preparation for this. So, I mean, I make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-19, authorizing the dissolution of the Desert Edge Public Infrastructure Districts numbers 2 through 3.
We have a motion by Councilmember Butler. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second by Councilmember Dalton. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 11, council reports. Somebody want to start?
I do
Jeff?
quickly. My meetings are next week on both mosquito board and the irrigation meetings next week, but I just made a note to make sure we spray the rodeo grounds for mosquitoes on May 22nd and 23rd, so I'm on that.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll try to make sure there's no bugs down there. And then things are going well on the boards, so that's all I have.
Thank you. Derek.
I don't have anything tonight. I think next week I'll have more with what we'll
Yes,
talk
we
about
have a
tomorrow.
walkthrough tomorrow at Scenic Slopes,
And
so we'll have more
What I'm
information.
trying to talk with people about scenic slopes, backstops and stuff. So
That is awesome.
hopefully we can have more to report next week or next 2 weeks.
Thank you. Jake.
Since our last meeting, I don't have anything new to report. Yeah. Is that rain?
That is rain.
It's rain.
We haven't
Yeah,
heard that for so
What is
long
that?
that today is a new day for us.
Let's have a moment of silence.
Rhett, do you have anything?
Yeah, so library board, we meet quarterly now. That'll be in the month of May. Planning and zoning is next Tuesday. So we'll attend that. I'll be attending that. I'm sure Councilman Dalton, you'll be there as well, planning on it. Historic preservation, we meet next week. So, nothing really to report on that either. So
Okay.
we're in good shape.
April,
Looked at the wrong date.
oh, sorry, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Put it on better.
Desert Edge, the new home developer that we all are very familiar with, they are having like a ribbon cutting for their subdivision. I have written down that it's April 6th at 11.
That is correct.
Is that still right? Okay,
Yes.
I thought I saw maybe something different. So April 6th at 11, if anyone would like to attend.
4, 6, 11.
Yes,
Could I make just a comment?
yes.
And it has to do with the rodeo. I just thought of it. Shelby, you're still here. In the last 2 years and 3 months that I've been involved with this, we've had a lot of different entities come in here, wanting to be a part of our community and build homes and do different things. I would just encourage you to reach out to some of those individuals for sponsorship opportunities. That can go a long ways for them to have that down there. I mean, I think might be an opportunity for them to give back a little bit to the community, so.
Thank you.
You probably already think of that, but I figured, someone should say it, so.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's April 6th. We are still looking for a date for kind of a training day, a retreat in. So we just need to figure out a date for a training. Alicia, can you send out
Yeah,
I know.
Some sort of,
direction as to what day?
even like a week's worth, but right now I'm like.
I know, it's tricky
So,
because
yeah.
everybody's schedules are so busy.
Yeah.
How long
May
are
I
we thinking
suggest
it's gonna take?
4 to 5 hours.
Should just like an alternate Wednesday instead of, because that's usually, we have council, so maybe one of the alternate Wednesdays, we don't have council come during that Wednesday night, if that.
We do have 5 Wednesdays this month.
We have youth council that meets alternate, but yeah.
If there
I'll be
are 5
available.
Wednesdays in April, that's not a terrible, because you wouldn't have youth council.
No, just twice a month.
Yeah,
But-
Irrigation meetings are on second, fourth Wednesdays.
so this would be a 5th Wednesday.
Fifth Wednesday would.
Yeah.
That's the 29th.
29th.
If everyone could just check your calendar for the 29th, and are you out, Brett? Okay.
Now, what about the 28th? Still out?
7th, 8th, 9th, 30th.
Next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday.
I'm not sure
Oh,
that
you're
I
right.
can
That's
make
right, you're
that
not
work.
gonna be here.
I'll have to check.
That's out.
That's out?
Yeah, Alicia's out.
Oh, okay, right.
Saturday,
We're doing work meeting. No way.
Friday from 5 to 10.
Which Friday?
I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh.
Friday.
Saturday, Monday.
What works best for staff, probably during regular hours.
Yeah, but we'll accommodate everyone who's gonna be doing the training salary, so we'll accommodate your schedules best for the council.
I think we just throw out 3 or 4 days.
What would be your day of preference as far as day of the week? Do you want to lose a Saturday?
I kind of like Friday, potentially, if we could.
You wanna send out a doodle poll for Fridays then?
Friday works better for me too,
Derek, Jeff?
even if it was in the afternoon, in the afternoon, we start at like 2 or something, I don't know. I don't know how if there's 3 or 5, I don't know how everyone's schedules.
I could do any Friday after for 3 on.
How does that,
I
does
can
that
get
work
off,
for you, Jeff?
so yeah, I'd say start Friday at 3.
Okay.
I just need a little notice.
Right.
so.
So Alicia, can you maybe send out some Fridays and then we can respond to that?
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. The trees arrive next Friday, so those who in this community who ordered trees, those will be here next Friday. We'll have our Arbor Day celebrations at this elementary schools in town on that date. The fire department mentioned this earlier, but I just wanted to point it out. The training is at 8 a.m. on April 11th. And then, yes, the nuclear campus, Governor Cox has submitted that application to the federal government as of today, April 1st, for a nuclear campus that is going to be built about 25 miles west of Grantsville. The federal government will make a decision on that. They are planning to make that decision by June or July, and we will go from there. So we haven't had a lot of information given to us prior to the last couple weeks, so we're still trying to figure that out as well.
I had a question on that. You know how we got that Q&A from the state? Is that something that we can give? I've got a lot of questions on it. I know that kind of list.
It is something we can give to the public. I wondered, and you can express your opinions on this. I wondered if it was something we wait until Utah has actually been selected as the site rather than causing concern over something that's just a maybe. From what I understood today, there are 17 different states that have put in applications for this. So I don't know that we release it now where it's just still a possibility and it's not in our control.
Yeah, I have a lot of people.
Yes, and
reach
so
out,
I've debated that myself. What's everybody's opinion? Release the
Yeah, I
information?
think it's all potential right now. I mean,
Yeah.
Until there's an actual selection, it doesn't become,
A reality.
I don't know. I'm kind of both ways. It's probably good to have the information there anyways. But if it's not gonna happen, there's a real possibility.
I don't think this, is the state withholding that information?
No, I have the information. They're not withholding it in any way. I just
The
didn't know if
Q&A?
we, yes.
Yeah,
I don't see why we couldn't share that
I
information.
agree.
Well, we can definitely share. I just didn't want to cause undue concern if it wasn't.
I actually think the Q&A actually doesn't cause that.
It causes less concern.
Yeah, well,
Right.
it answers some questions.
Right.
Some pretty important questions,
Mhm.
like water,
And water.
and water.
I'll have staff put on the Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just fine.
I think we probably ought to I don't know that the way it was announced, it's a done deal, right? So I think it would be good to insinuate that, that it's been submitted and it'll be based on the federal selection, so.
We're obviously, I mean, the state's made the proposal and we'd be in the running, one of 17 sites.
Right.
And I don't think they're picking probably multiple sites with how much they'd have to invest in that campus.
Right. Several states, from my understanding, are submitting like 2 states together and they would do part in one state and part in another, and they're submitting an application together. Utah's application is obviously one location, so I don't know how that's gonna play out. No,
Looking at the location, it's a good choice.
right.
We're gonna put something out there. That'd be it.
Definitely wore the wrong clothes to go out there.
What's that?
So I definitely wore the wrong clothes when I went out there. My shoes still have dust all over.
Mine too.
Jake wore the right boots.
Governor wore boots.
Yes, he did. Michael, do you have anything you'd like to?
No, I think you covered most of the stuff, right?
Okay. Any other staff members have anything they'd like to address?
Can we make a Facebook post for the rodeo?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Now, yes.
More than one.
Yes.
Christy, do you have anything? Okay. All right, then, with that, oh, Bill, you are back there. Bill, do you have anything?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, either the chiefs back there have anything you'd like to address? Oh, we're good, all right. At this time, we need to move into a closed session, so if I could have somebody make that motion.
I make a motion, we move into a closed session.
We have a motion by Councilmember Dalton. Is there a second?
I second.
Councilmember Thomas has seconded that, and thank you for all the members of the public for your comments and your concerns and for attending tonight. And we'll take a 5-minute break.
Where's the city slope like that? But I didn't know.
It